I was standing in the hallway when I heard my son say it. Mom has become a burden. 3 words to his wife about me. I'm 91 years old. I raised that boy. I buried his father. I cooked his Thanksgiving dinner that was still sitting on the table behind him. I didn't make a sound. I went upstairs, and for 3 days, I planned exactly what I was going to say back. Today, I'm going to tell you the one word I said and why he still can't look me in the eye. But first, you need to hear what I did in those 3 days. Because if your own children have ever made you feel this way, this is the story you need. It was Thanksgiving. The house smelled like turkey and butter and the cinnamon I always put in the sweet potatoes. My grandchildren were in the living room arguing about a movie. My daughter-in-law was in the kitchen, and I had stepped into the hallway to grab my cardigan from the closet. That's when I heard them. My son was standing with his wife near the dining room. They didn't see me. He said it in that tired voice men get, the voice that thinks nobody's listening. Mom has become a burden, and his wife, God forgive her, didn't argue. She just sighed and said, I know, honey, I know. Listen to me. In 91 years, I have been called many things. I've been called stubborn. I've been called difficult. I've been called the best mother on the block. But until that night, nobody had ever called me a burden. That boy I sat up with for 3 nights straight when he had scarlet fever at age 8. That boy whose father died when he was 19 and who I held on the kitchen floor while he sobbed. A burden. I didn't say a word. I went upstairs. I sat on the edge of the bed in the dark, and I listened to them laugh downstairs, while my heart broke quietly enough that nobody could hear it. And this is the part I'm not proud of, I went back downstairs. I smiled. I served the pie. I kissed everyone goodbye. And when my son said, "You okay, Mom?" I said, "Of course, dear. That's what we do, isn't it? That's what we've been trained to do." Now, I could have said it that night at the dinner table. I could have screamed. I could have cried. But I'm going to tell you why I didn't and what I did during those 3 days instead. Because what happened in those 3 days is the reason that one word landed the way it did. Day 1, I didn't eat. I stayed in bed until noon, and I caught myself doing something strange. I made the bed extra carefully, like I was trying to take up less space in my own house. That's when I knew something was very wrong. Because here is the truth I want you to write down. The dangerous thing isn't when somebody calls you a burden. The dangerous thing is when you start apologizing for being there. I lay in bed that whole first day, and I let that sentence sink into me. By the time the sun went down, I was a different woman than the one who had woken up. Day 2 was the anger day. I let myself feel it. I thought about every birthday cake, every flu I nursed him through, every dollar I sent him in college, when I was eating beans for dinner so he could buy his books. 60 years of giving. And then, this is the worst part. Underneath all that anger, a small voice asked me, "Is he right? Have I become a burden?" That voice almost killed me. Not literally, worse. It almost killed who I was. Day 3. I had coffee on my porch. I watched a hummingbird at my feeder, and I realized something. My son's words weren't about me. They were about him. When your children call you a burden, what they are really saying is that they are terrified of becoming you. That is not your shame to carry. That's theirs. I called my best friend Margaret that afternoon. She's 89, sharp as a tack. I told her everything, and she said one thing that I want you to hear too. She said, "Honey, you can either spend the rest of your life apologizing or you can spend it teaching him." Margaret has been telling me hard truths since 1962. I should have called her on day 1 and saved myself 2 days of crying. That's when I started writing it down, what I was going to say. Now here's where most grandmothers would have given up. Most would have just swallowed it and gone quiet for the rest of their lives. And I almost did. There was one moment, I'll never forget it, when I sat at my kitchen table at 4 in the morning, and I almost called my son to apologize for existing. And the thing that stopped me, it is the same thing I want you to remember every single day. Let me tell you what it was. It was the 3rd night. I couldn't sleep. I came downstairs in my bathrobe and I sat at the kitchen table. My phone was in my hand. I had already dialed his number. My thumb was hovering over the green button, and in my head, I was rehearsing what I was going to say. "I'm sorry I've gotten old. I'm sorry I need help with the stairs. I'm sorry I exist in your life in this shape." And then I looked up and I saw my reflection in the dark kitchen window. And I didn't see myself. I saw my mother. My mother spent the last 10 years of her life apologizing for everything, for needing a ride, for wanting company, for asking too many questions. She died small and quiet and grateful for crumbs. I sat at that kitchen table and I cried. Not for me, for her, for every woman who has ever made herself smaller because the people around her couldn't handle her being big. And looking at that reflection at 4 o'clock in the morning in my own kitchen, I made a vow. I am not going to die the way my mother died. I have spent 91 years earning my place in this world. I am not going to apologize my way out of it. I put the phone down. I made myself eggs and toast, the first real meal in 3 days. I ate it slowly. By sunrise, I had a plan. I didn't call him. I sent him a text. "Come over Saturday, just you, for tea." All right, I've told you almost the whole story. You know what he said. You know what I did for 3 days. You know what I almost didn't do. There's just one thing left, the word itself, and what happened after I said it. And I want you to listen carefully to this part, because what happened after is the part that I think will matter most to you. I cleaned the house. I bought the good tea, the one his father used to drink. I wore my blue cardigan, and then I sat by the window and waited. Saturday afternoon, he came in. He sat down at my kitchen table. I poured the tea. He started making small talk. His work, the kids, the weather. I let him talk. I let him talk for a full 5 minutes. Then I put my teacup down and I looked at him. David, I heard you on Thanksgiving when you told your wife I had become a burden. His face went white. He started to stammer. Mom, I didn't mean. I raised one hand, just one. Enough. I didn't say anything else for a full minute. I just looked at him. And then, I am not a burden. I am your mother. I fed you. I buried your father. I have loved you for 58 years, and I will not spend the years I have left apologizing for being here. If you cannot see me as a person, as a whole, full, living person, then you are not ready to be in my life. That is not a punishment. That is a fact. He cried. I didn't comfort him. I let him cry. He left without finishing his tea. He didn't call me for 2 weeks. And then, slowly, he came back. Different. He started showing up. He started asking real questions. Listening. Last Sunday, he brought me flowers and asked me to tell him about his father. Really tell him. We talked for 3 hours. None of that would have happened if I had stayed silent on Thanksgiving. Now listen to me. If you are sitting there right now, feeling like a burden to your own family, listen to me carefully. You are not a burden. You are a witness. You are the keeper of a whole life that took 70, 80, 90 years to build. And anyone who cannot see that, they are not too busy to love you properly. They are too afraid. Their fear is not your shame. I am not telling you to call your child today. I am not telling you to say that word to anyone. I am telling you to look in the mirror tonight and stop apologizing for being there. And one more thing. My doctor told me something once. He said the day a senior starts believing they are a burden is the day their body starts agreeing. So don't you dare believe it. Not for one more minute. I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like a burden to your own family? What did you do? Or what do you wish you had done? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And I promise you, you are not alone.